Hi, welcome back, weary travelers. We are here at Fight or Flight Network. We have another episode of, I don't have 31 fingers, but 31 Days of Horror. Today we have three people with us, so we're going to do a little different. Instead of going back and forth, it's just going to be one person, then the next person, the next. So let's introduce everybody. First off, we have Noel here. He's going to do the first set, and then we also have Crystal from the What Doesn't Kill Us show you should totally watch. So Noel, why don't you start us off?
Well, we each had themes each week. So this is the second week of October, right? So my theme that came together as I was thinking of films I'd like to recommend for Halloween. The first one is called The Last Wave. It's from 1977, directed by Peter Weir, an Australian film. Have you guys seen it?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, you'll love it. You'll love it. I'll just read it's with Richard Chamberlain, and I'll just read the IMDb summary. It's as good as any.
Okay.
A Sydney lawyer defends 5 Aborigines in a ritualized taboo murder, and in the process learns disturbing things about himself and premonitions. That's good. I mean, I can go into further detail, but I'd rather not give too much away, except to say that my theme this week was culture clashes, and this film is very much about the clash of Aboriginal culture and white Australian culture, and this film sort of spins that out into it becomes bigger than just the legal drama. It becomes, and cultural drama. It becomes cosmic. By the end, the stakes are really high. The film sets up a bunch of oppositions: white and black, male and female, high and low, desert and water. So it sort of unfolds like a dream, a lot of images. The good thing about this movie is it plays like a dream, or really a nightmare, and yet it's still engaged with the really ugly history of colonialism in Australia. We have our own slavery and race issue here. They have a whole different set of issues there that are still very much alive. It wasn't that long ago that Aboriginal families were split up, and a whole lost generation now is coming into their own in terms of kids that were torn away from their parents. I mean, stuff like that happened in the 20th century there. So things are really raw. So this film tries to approach that history in a very visual way and in a narrative way. Richard Chamberlain is amazing. The other main character is an Aboriginal actor, Daniel Gulpilil. And he was in Walkabout, which is a Nicolas Roeg film from Australia from a few years before. He became the go-to Aboriginal actor. Well, he still is in Australia. He has a huge filmography. This is one of the first things he did. And the film it's about these two guys, and Daniel Gulpilil plays one of the 5 Aborigines who committed the murder, and Richard Chamberlain is the white attorney trying to get them off. And one of the ways he's trying to get them off the murder charges to prove that they are tribal Aborigines and that this was a tribal act that took place. And what's ironic is the Aborigines don't want to be known as tribal. They're trying to hide that history. They're trying to hide that identity. But the dream aspect comes in. Richard Chamberlain's character has a dream about Charlie, the character played by Daniel Gulpilil. So you've got the legal story, and then you've got a really more abstract story where people are dreaming about each other, and messages are being sent, and symbols and signs start to come into the mix. So it's extremely complicated, and I'm not describing it very well because it's so thick and it's got so much going on. I've seen this a few times. Each time I watch it, it's more upsetting and more disturbing. It's very much a horror film, despite everything I've said. I haven't really said anything that would be specifically horror, but and I don't know why it's so upsetting to me, but this last time was really, there's images in it, and I have a thing about water, and the film is called The Last Wave. You can imagine some of the imagery that is dealt with, and actually it fits in now because we see so many things that are end of the world type of things, and this movie deals with that. It's a Criterion film, so it's not obscure. It's easy to get. It's easy to rent. It's easy to buy. And it's considered a classic. Now, I know you guys didn't like Picnic at Hanging Rock.
As soon as you said Criterion, I immediately went to that movie.
Right, it's the same director. I shouldn't be telling you that.
You know what? No, but Picnic at Hanging Rock was a very pretty film. It was very nice. It just never went anywhere, and therefore me and Crystal felt like we wasted 2 hours of our life.
This has a lot of story and a lot of plot. A lot happens in this movie, but it is a companion piece. It's like the male version in a way, or it's more brutal. There's violence. There's scary, spooky, bizarre stuff that happens. And the thing with this is
happen.
What?
That's important.
The key word is happen. That's
Yeah.
right. The key thing is stuff happens. There's his wife, the woman who plays his wife, the character of the wife, Richard Chamberlain's wife, says at one point, the most chilling things aren't necessarily the spooky things. She says, I'm a fourth generation Australian and I've never met an Aborigine. And it's like, oh my God. And, so you've got that level of social reality inside this thing that's much more cosmic and much more stream of consciousness and much more kind of, apocalyptic end of the world. So that's highly, highly recommended. And the other film is also Culture Clash, which is this is a more personal idea of a culture clash. What often happens is the format of these kinds of culture clash horror films, where you have often what happens is, and I think we talked about this last time, Monica, with Ghostbusters, is that you've got the white rationalist coming to a place of irrationality, and often that place of irrationality is like Haiti, zombies, like in I Walk with a Zombie, or Serpent in the Rainbow is a perfect kind of example of that, where the white man's coming in to study it and gets caught up and messed with by the forces of irrationality. Mm-hmm. And that's definitely at play in The Last Wave. And then this is another version of that. It's Don't Look Now. It's from 1973.
I have seen this movie.
You guys have seen this. This is not. This is less obscure. Certainly, this is considered one of the.
It's good.
Directed by Nicolas Roeg, starring Donald Sutherland and Julie Christie. This is a similar situation where a white, sort of late 30s, early 40s man goes to, tries to bring rationality to a place of irrationality, which is one of the reasons it's set in Venice. There's a history of Venice representing the kind of the crumbling Thomas Mann's Death in Venice would be a good example of that. Anyway, it's a couple who are married and their child has died in England where they live, and they go on vacation. It's a working vacation. He is an art restorer and he has a job, and they go to Venice. And they start to have visions start to appear, and they meet two old witches, one of whom is blind, two sisters who sees the ghost or feels the presence of the dead daughter. And Donald Sutherland refuses to accept this kind of supernatural vision or view of dealing with the death of the daughter. But things start to happen, strange things start to happen in Venice. And again, this conflict, this internal conflict where Donald Sutherland's character is trying to kind of explain away the death of the daughter and just accept it, dead is dead, gone is gone, and the wife and the two sisters, the witches, and Venice itself is trying to tell him something else. And like with Richard Chamberlain's character in The Last Wave, by not listening to the kind of the non-rational voices, tragedy ensues. God, I hope I didn't give too much away.
No, you're good.
Did I cover? You guys have seen this one, so
Yeah.
is there anything else you want to say about it?
Yeah.
Well,
there is a
Crystal apparently wanted to talk about the sex scene.
Yeah.
But
You know, Crystal, I've
Donald
never
Sutherland's
understood
ass.
what was the big deal about. I know Donald Sutherland's. He's one of my favorite actors, but why do you think the sex scene is such a big deal? Crystal? I think, did we lose Crystal?
And we lost Crystal. So that question will never be answered.
No, I'm here.
I'd really be interested in his view.
No, I couldn't hear what you were saying. No, but my comment on why people probably think it's unusual, especially these days, is really just because of how dated everybody's hairdos are. I think seeing Donald Sutherland's like fro is intense, and people aren't used to seeing that. Other than that, it is a completely normal. No, it's head hair.
Yeah, he had like a crazy hairdo in that movie.
Yeah, but I mean, in terms of the sex scene's really famous, which I don't understand because it's not that big a deal today. I think the director was trying to.
Is there another sex scene with Donald Sutherland in it? I don't recall. Maybe that's why.
The one between he and his wife, he and Julie Christie. Like, talk about it like, oh, the story is they were actually having sex, and oh, it was so explicit, and it's like, I'm not exactly sure what relevance it has. I guess it's in there to show that the couple's starting to make up after the horror of losing the child, but then that gets thrown into disarray. I don't know. This one unfolds like a dream with the editing, the cinematography. A lot of Nicolas Roeg's films are like that. This is a classic. Also, I don't know if it's a Criterion, but you can rent or find it anywhere.
I think when I watched it on Netflix.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
So both of these films, I guess it's less about culture clash and more about the clash of rationality and irrationality and how the white man tries to deal with it. And when you don't deal with it, things can go terribly, terribly wrong.
You're speaking of... Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead. That's all.
No, I was just going to say, I think it's funny you're talking about like white clashing with other cultures and stuff like that. And as I'm writing notes about this film, I couldn't remember how to spell Aborigine, so I wrote Aboriginal because that's what Zoolander calls them. That is forever what it is for me. Aboriginals.
So culturally insensitive.
I know, it's awful. But I was just like, how do you spell Aboriginal?
That's really
sure.
So
I think there's also a culture clash between a white American family and Venetian ladies that are perhaps.
Absolutely, the culture, and he has a really hard time with the police when they have to deal with the police. So they're both really spooky, really wonderful, really creepy, really unsettling films. But I think you can learn from them. You know, I think they're trying to tell you about what not to do. So I think they work on different levels. I've said enough.
Okay. Yeah, I really like that movie. I haven't seen it in a while. I need to watch it again.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I couldn't find the other movies you recommended last week, but I did watch Quadacook.
What did you think?
If that's how you say it.
Yeah.
I watched it while I was doing my homework because I had finals this week, so I was really busy. But you know what? It was perfect doing homework movie because it was all ambience and visuals, and I was just like, it was great. Like, it was better than listening to classical music. It was really cool.
Cool. Very cool.
All right, Crystal, you still there?
Yes.
You want to go ahead and start yours?
Yes. So as Monica knows already, my favorite horror franchise of all time is probably Silent Hill.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, the film genre theme that I've picked for this week is something that is kind of close to that genre.
Okay.
It's very specific. It's
your own personal hell?
It's
Sorry.
Film noir. Excuse me. It's film noir but it stars an anti-hero that is in the hell of his own making. So to start, I'm gonna talk about something that I saw recently. I don't know where it's been all my life, but I'm in love with it. It's this movie called Angel Heart.
Okay.
It's directed by Alan Parker, and it stars a young, hot Mickey Rourke, which, you know, I don't know what happened to that guy, but I missed this one. And it also stars Robert De Niro and Lisa Bonet. And it is a work of art, really. It is just finely tuned craftsmanship that you don't typically see in movies these days, where everything is like an airtight script. And also, going back to Noel's theme, it has a lot of that white man facing irrational stereotypes with Haitian culture. There's a lot of voodoo imagery in it, as this detective goes down this rabbit hole. Oh, and you know, Harry Angel is a private investigator. He's hired by a man who calls himself Louis Cypher to track down a singer called Johnny Favorite. But the investigation takes an unexpected and somber turn. So it's just really following Mickey Rourke's character down this rabbit hole to figure out what happened to this Johnny Favorite singer. There's so much great imagery, and everything that they set up has a payoff. I love it when films suggest a hell within your own reality.
Yeah.
And I also love, I love the idea that your hero is not a reliable narrator, because you're so invested in this person's journey that it is unthinkable to think that, they might be someone that you don't even think about. It's just an airtight film. I love the visuals. It amazingly directed.
It is really fun when you have to question what's real and what's not, because either the main character is psychotic or they have memory loss or something like that. It's almost like you're on a separate journey, because most films you are on the same journey as the main character, but when it's something like that where the main character isn't being honest or something, then you're on a separate journey trying to figure out should this be the person you're listening to or should it be someone else. That is fun.
And especially when the character doesn't even know what it is to himself, he's finding out along with you, which is nice. And I just love, I love kind of ritualistic imagery in my films, because it's creepy and spooky, and you have a lot of opportunities to use different music, different visuals, different, it really shows like a Louisiana Creole, style. There's lots of jazz in it, and it's filmed beautifully.
It's set in New Orleans, right?
Yes, he's in New York, and then he travels to New Orleans for his case.
Yeah, you probably already said that. So that's interesting. I didn't think about it, but it has noir elements. It's like a mix of Southern Gothic noir and voodoo horror.
That sounds fun.
And just that great, I love that great Silent Hill-esque, which I guess Silent Hill probably took from properties like this to create one of the greatest narratives I've ever seen in Silent Hill 2. But just seeing this world collapse in on somebody's self, and you're experiencing the world through their minds, and you realize that this world may or may not be what actual reality is like. It's something that they psychologically have put themselves in.
Very cool.
My second movie.
Okay.
It's so good. My second movie is less prestigious, but still really fun. I've been on this Hellraiser kick, and I've been rewatching all the films. I still have 4 left.
I love those.
I don't know how many more of these things they can possibly be made. Just keep making them. It's fine. Hellraiser 5 is Hellraiser Inferno. This one is the IMDb synopsis is: a shady police detective becomes embroiled in a strange world of murder, sadism, and madness after being assigned a murder investigation against a madman only known as the Engineer. This one was not directed by Clive Barker, but I 2 and 3, Hellraiser 2 and actually Hellraiser 3 and 4 were pretty bad.
Yeah.
This one made up for it. This one has a great noir story, same kind of anti-hero, great visuals of like creeps in the shadows.
I'd like to point out too, since
play within the world. If I'm being haunted in my own hell, I'm gonna run away from my room in my house and then end up in another house in my memories that I've
cool.
That's even more.
That's torturing me.
Oh God.
Yeah, this guy, he runs through different like his childhood home where he has bad memories, and then he goes and runs back in and he sees his wife that he's ignoring, and then he is just running around in circles inside of his
Have you seen
mind
there's an 80s movie just called House, I think, and the picture of it is like a finger on the doorknob. That makes me think of that, like where he opens the door and it's like a portal to hell or something. Yeah. But I'd like to point out that when we were talking about doing Hellraiser for What Doesn't Kill Us, this is the one that Brady said was his favorite. Hellraiser 5.
Great.
Did he really?
Yeah. I like it a lot.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's such I would say 1 and 2 are the best.
Yeah, because I was saying I like 1 the best, but this one is his favorite.
Yeah. Well, this one is a great one where you establish the Hellraiser world and you with it. You don't have to have and I with it last time. It was so crazy. Like you don't need a world-ending, like a system. Taking down the system story. This is a story about one man's personal journey and what Pinhead's gonna do about it.
Silent Hill 2.
So is number 4?
And I don't know. I really enjoyed this one.
Is number 4 bringing down the system?
Number 4 is the history of.
Definitely. That one's in space sometimes.
Oh wait, no, number 4.
The timeline spans from.
Number 4 is the one with the guy from Parks and Rec, right?
Revolution. Yeah, it has Adam Scott in a powdered wig from a revolutionary France.
Yeah.
And it starts from there and then goes all the way to like future space. It's so insane.
Yeah, that one's the one that I just could not keep up with.
Hilarious, not great.
Wait, is this number 3 we're talking about now?
Number 4.
4.
3's the one with the CDs, right?
Yeah, 3's the one with a guy who shoots CDs out of his face. Yeah, it's such an interesting series to study because there's all these great ideas jam-packed into it, and it's hard not to look, even when it's bad. But Inferno's good, so I would check that out. And I think that's it for my recommendations. Monica?
Yeah. Well, saying that it's hard not to look even though it's bad, 4 is quite possibly the worst film I've ever seen. That being said, I could not turn away from it. Like, I couldn't turn the TV off, though. I was just like, what? Like, kept watching. But yeah, it's awful.
I kept writing notes. While I was watching it. Like, I have so many questions. Like, what are the rules of this world? Why would you still have the same face? We have to do a whole separate.
Why is one movie Pinhead the hero, and then the other movie he's the villain, and then he's the hero again, and then like he just keeps changing his mind? Yeah.
Yeah, he's essentially the hero of the story, and he's
the
like
first and
the first, second, and third movie he's the hero.
Yeah.
And he's just like, I'll take you to hell, but also I got your back, girl. And it's just.
But then in the fourth one, he's like, you're not evil enough to be the princess of hell. And I'm like, wait, neither are you, dude. What's going on?
I love how
you're like really
Crystal defines Pinhead as like his alter ego is he turns African American when he's when he's being good? Is that the idea?
I would love it if he was.
He becomes more, more street.
Definitely.
What he's gonna do a solid for you.
For sure.
The time where he talks to the voice.
Mm-hmm.
Or Clive Barker. Apparently, there's like this 3-hour edit of Nightbreed that's out, or that people.
What? Oh my God! Really?
Yeah, this uncut version is being. I heard it was at some horror convention recently, and the poor guy he's so sick, but he's still hanging in there.
Well, Craig Sheffer is actually the star of Inferno, so he's the star of Nightbreed.
Oh, okay.
I just recently went back and watched Nightbreed because you told me, and I'm like, where was this movie my whole life? This is totally a Monica movie.
But apparently, lots of questions are answered in the long version.
Movie Bob actually has a review about Nightbreed, like the guy who goes into depth about all these films that I like so much, and it's really good. Crystal, did I lose you again?
No.
Oh, okay. It's just black screen. Sorry.
You're frozen.
I'm just smiling and nodding.
But anyway, the camera does not accept that as an answer or response.
Oh man.
Okay.
All right, Mons.
All right. So for my theme, I was going for a modern retelling of classic stories, or like fairy tales or classic horror. So I have 3. For the first one, this was actually unintentional, and it wasn't until the Japanese release that the directors and the writers and everybody went, "Oh snap, you're right," because the Japanese release had a cover with a girl in a red hood and a snare, and they're like, Red Hood catches wolf. And then they realize that Hard Candy, the movie, is actually a modern retelling of Little Red Riding Hood without realizing it. It's a fantastic film, though. It's about a girl. Sorry, you can read it on. I already have all this information. I'm ready. Last time Noel totally trumped me on info. So it's directed by David Slade. It's the same guy who brought us 30 Days of Night and the Hannibal show. It's got Ellen Page, the girl from Juno and Inception and that really cool video game, and Patrick Wilson, the guy that's in Inception and The Conjuring. And it's about a girl who... Yes. Yes, that film.
He's not in Inception.
Oh, Insidious. Sorry. Insidious. 2 I words. Insidious. I was like, yeah. I said Inception for Ellen Page, Crystal. Get past it. No,
you
but
were accepted to think that Patrick Wilson was in that movie.
Yeah, they wormed in there. So it's about a girl who video chats online and chats online with this guy who's much older than her for a long time, and you think the whole time you're watching the movie you're like, stupid girl, because she ends up meeting with this guy for coffee, and then she goes back to his house, and then you find out that she had a friend that was raped and murdered by someone that invited them through video chat over to her house, and she found the guy, and that's where things completely flip, and it's now the hunted is the hunter, and I'm not going to say too much about it, but there even is the, the wolf gets his stomach slit open. There is the thinking someone's getting their insides resituated is a nice way to put it. But it's a really good movie. It was one of Ellen Page's earlier films when nobody knew who she was, and then everybody was like, "Who is this girl?" But it's
we
fantastic.
We saw it together.
Yeah, we did a long time ago.
Good.
Yeah, and it's a movie that is just stuck in my mind since then. We saw it 5, 6, 7 years ago. I don't know.
Longer,
but anytime
probably.
Ellen Page comes up, I just always imagine that, and I'm like, oh yeah, you guys haven't seen this. She's scary, you guys.
She's amazing.
Yeah, really good movie, and it's again, they didn't mean for it to be Red Riding Hood. It was just quite fortuitous when they were doing the promos that they put her in a red hood, and then everybody was like, "Yeah, this is."
You said the Japanese accidentally, or just they?
It was when it came to Japanese release. You know how they all put their own taglines that will draw in their culture's audience. Their tagline said "Red Hood catches wolf," and then the writers and directors went, whoa, you guys. Whoa, we didn't even realize this is Red Riding Hood.
Did you wear a red hood at some point?
Yeah, in the movie, the main character has like a little red sweater. She's wearing like a little jacket with a sweater. But
you're not gonna believe this, but I was roommates with the guy who wrote that a long time ago.
Seriously?
When I was in college.
What?
He's smart. I don't believe he wouldn't have known that that's what he was pulling from.
What? Are you for reals?
Really odd to me.
That's crazy. That's awesome.
Yeah, he's I haven't spoken to him in years, but he's really smart.
From what I read, it was unintentional. It might have been the writer's intention, but when it went to production and everything, it just got completely glossed over.
Yeah, but the costume designer would be in on something to make her red. I don't know. That seems... It is
pretty hardcore, like Red Riding Hood, though. Yeah. That's why even after when you watch it thinking that, you're like, yeah, okay, I can see this.
He's on Jeopardy, for God's sake. This guy's smart. He would know. Even if he was accidentally doing Red Riding Hood, he probably realized it partly through. Anyway, Brian Nelson is his name, and he also co-wrote 30 Days of Night, which I think is amazing. But
I like that a lot. Yeah,
there's a lot of controversy about whether that's a good vampire movie or not. I think it's great. But
I enjoyed it. The sequel, not so much, but the sequel was weird. Sorry. Anyways, next film. So the next one you can rent on, or it's on Netflix. You can stream it. It's called Sisterhood of the Night, and I just recently watched this. Like one of those movies that Netflix just keeps recommending and like keeps shoving in your face until you're finally like, okay, I'll watch it. Because it didn't look that great to me because it's like, I don't know, high school girls and high school drama kind of film.
But how could you not want to?
But it actually was like crazy good, and it's and my boyfriend makes fun of the way I say this. I'm gonna try to say it right. The Crucible. I don't know. I've always said it the Crucible, and he's just like, I'm sorry, what was that?
That way from now on.
But anyways, yeah, and it's about how with like Twitter, Facebook, all these news feeds, RSS, texting, how news spreads so fast and how a lie can grow so fast to become a witch hunt. And they do the same thing where all the girls start like being like accusing these girls of doing like witch-esque things, and then they like pass out in the gym and everything, and they have like the same scenes and everything, and it's just this crazy. And in actuality, what the girls were doing is quite possibly one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen, and I'm not going to tell you what it was because that's kind of the big reveal at the thing. It's amazing. And then it got turned into just such this dark witch hunt, exactly is what it was. And it talks about how scandals are born from, misinformation and, the right picture at the wrong time and stuff like that. And it's fantastic. It's directed by Caryn. I think her name is I don't know how to Waechter. I'm not sure how to spell that. I looked her up. She's done a few things, but not anything really that big. The only really kind of big actress in it. There are a lot of side roles that are done by larger people, like the guy who plays Kumar is in it, but he's just a really small side role, like he's the guidance counselor of the school, stuff like that. But the main character is Georgie Henley, who was Lucy from the Narnia movies, and so this was like everybody keeps like they're completely flawed by her like breakout performance in this because she nailed that. Could be awesome, could be a witch role. Like, just could be a normal girl, but could be a witch because she just has that glare that she just completely nails. And so every time somebody accuses her, and she's not going to give up the secret because giving up the secret would betray these other women, and she'll just glare at people, and then they'll pass out and faint, and you're like, wait, was she really, like, casting a spell on them? Because that was a pretty evil, like, witch's glare right there. But, it was really good, and it said a lot about the current generation right now, just with all the advancements to their fingertips not exactly being the greatest thing in the world for them, and how things get blown out of control and can ruin lives.
It's called Sisterhood of the
Sisterhood of the Night.
And
it's on Netflix.
when was it done? What's the year?
Man, the one thing I didn't write down, no.
Um,
I have to look it up. It's not too old. I'd say probably like 2012 and on.
Is there a trial scene at one point, like the Crucible? Is there like a scene?
There is a scene where they're having like a, I don't know if it was like a neighborhood watch or like a parent-teacher conference, but at one point the main character does try to get up and speak and defend everybody, and then just more insanity. And there is the scandal between the guidance counselor, in actuality, possibly like a scandal between one of the main characters and them, but it's totally not real. But it's kind of like the I know everyone's name in the crew, Shibble, and now I can't think of any of their names. John Proctor.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yes, Daniel Day-Lewis.
Winona Ryder? That's
but between the Winona Ryder and the Daniel Day-Lewis character, they have that sort of romance there too, but only in the Crucible it's real, and in this it's just all wild gander and speculation.
Well, in the Crucible, what do you mean it's real?
Well, okay.
Witchcraft isn't necessarily real.
No, but
the affection between those two is real.
The actual affair.
Yeah, but in this movie, it's more just wild speculation, and again, the right picture at the wrong time.
Interesting. Sounds really interesting. Have you seen it, Crystal?
I have not. I'll add it to my list.
Have you heard of this film from last year starring Maisie Williams about the girls who at a girls' school where they're fainting? I think it's called Falling or something. And there's group there's the possibility it's a group psychosis thing. It's based on a true story of a hysteric where like a
mass hysteria.
Where like a disease or somebody has symptoms and they pass along even though nobody actually has anything.
Oh,
it's
that's
supposed to be really good. From last year, I think.
I'll have to look that up. Yeah.
Similar, anyway.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, I'm writing it down. I want to watch that. And then my last one, the third one, it is a movie by Mary Harron. It's the lady who directed American Psycho, actually. This movie's called Moth Diaries. And again, it's another like high school girl drama in an all-girl school. And it was another one that I just kept staring at it going, please, Netflix, stop recommending these movies to me. I think you misunderstood who is watching. But no.
I think they know you very well.
They know me very well because I was watching this. And the whole time I was watching it, because I'm really big about going into movies blind. I might read the synopsis on Netflix if I'm slightly hesitant. Like if I'm not sold by the title or the cover, I might read the synopsis, but I prefer to go completely blind into movies.
I wish I could do that. It makes life so much more exciting,
The puzzle solving and the journey is so much more fun if you don't know everything. At least to me. I know it's not for everybody.
No.
But
for me too, I don't like having much expectations. That's why I haven't even seen a trailer for Crimson Peak.
I try not to watch. Okay, I saw one trailer on that and I got so mad because it just popped up on a movie I was watching and it gave me the entire plot.
Really?
I know, beginning to end because of that trailer. And I was like, you guys, I was really excited for this movie. God. And you just ruined it. I'm still probably going to watch it though.
Chappie was like that too.
Yeah, I like Chappie. I like Chappie a lot.
The trailer made it like...
See, I didn't know anything about that movie. My roommate just brought it home, and they're like, "Monica, we're watching this movie." I'm like, "Done," and it was fantastic. Blew me out of the water. Anyway, so Moth Diaries. I was watching it completely blind, had no idea what it was about, and I was probably an hour and a half, like near the end, until I went, "This is Bram Stoker's Dracula." What? Like even one of the main characters' names is like Lucy. Like the one that is all, what's a nice way to put that? Not a slut. The carefree one.
That's good.
The carefree one's name was even Lucy, and she was a redhead, and I just was not drawing the parallel until the very end, and I'm like, holy crap, you guys, that was awesome. Like, golf clap.
No, I remember the trailer for that film and being really interested by it, and for some reason I completely forgot it until you just told me right now.
Yeah,
But the trailer was
it's
cool.
super good.
I wish
There's
I
not.
was like you guys because the reviews were so bad. The reviews were.
I know, and I like even the
Were
reviews
they?
on Netflix weren't that great on it, but I totally ignore reviews.
I really need to start doing that now.
Well, especially because I love horror film and I love bad horror. A lot of times, my favorite bad horror films have awful reviews, but I'm like, man, this movie was the greatest. But no, this one was really good, and especially like the main character, the one who plays like the Dracula character, she's the only one that really stands out, and the actress herself looks so weird.
Is she the girl from Orphan?
I don't know if she's an orphan. She's in the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus. That last Heath Ledger film. Oh, you should watch that. That's fun. That's like an acid trip.
Gilliam film, yeah.
Yeah. It's really good.
Did you say a Killian film?
Gilliam.
I thought you meant like another film with Cillian Murphy or something.
No, she's in that. You should watch that. That's an acid trip. Like, watch it sometime you've had a few drinks.
Right now.
But she has this weird face that already makes her look like some sort of crazy supernatural being, so it just adds to her like her allure. And yeah, she has that weird like what's Amanda Seyfried, how she has like those giant alien eyes.
The model too.
Yeah, but it adds to this mysteriousness to her, and then she's like this crazy mysterious is just the best way to explain her.
Her name. Yeah, this was her big movie debut, and it didn't go so great, at least in terms of critical response.
The Moth Diaries?
No, this model turned actress who I think a particular role, because she's really strange. I mean, as a model, she was weird looking, but of course they like that in that.
Yeah. But, and it works for roles like this.
Yeah,
it really does. Like it adds to her. Like, there is something wrong with this person.
Yeah.
But yet she's still beautiful.
Yeah.
There's something wrong with her.
Yeah, I don't know how to explain it other than like she almost looks like a fairy, like a fae person. Like there's something magical going on behind her, but it's like a twisted, distorted, but beautiful. I don't know. It's kind of crazy, but I really.
Girls' school, right?
It's what?
The girls' school.
Yeah, it's an all-girls school. Yeah, it's really interesting, and I think part of it, one of the main reasons why I liked it so much is because I went into it blind, not knowing it was like Bram Stoker's Dracula, and then when it hit me, I was just like, what? And I had to go back and watch the whole movie over again.
Did you really?
But, yeah, I did. I'm like, what? Were they setting this up from the beginning, or was this like a real quick last note? And then I'm like, no, this completely follows Dracula, just in a modern day setting.
But wait a minute, but she's not a vampire. It's not vampires? It's like metaphorical?
No, there's still they don't actually ever say exactly what's going on with her, and it doesn't have the end final, like, release you into the sun.
Right.
Again, Winona Ryder. Then maybe that should have been my theme.
My theme was Winona Ryder.
My theme was Winona Ryder.
She actually has that's a great Halloween theme.
Yeah.
It's just...
Well, I even brought up Zoolander today.
She's in that?
Well, for like 2 minutes. She like sits there and stares at Zoolander when he's telling a story, and that's it. But yeah, so I was really impressed by it because it completely and totally caught me off guard. But even going back and watching it a second time, I was even more in awe because I was looking for the Dracula cues, and like I haven't read Bram Stoker's Dracula, but I've seen the Francis Coppola one like 100 times.
No,
I love that movie.
But that movie has nothing to do with the book. The Stoker family fought to try to keep his name off of it because that movie is ridiculous in terms of...
Oh, I love that movie.
I mean, it's ridiculous if you're looking for any kind of actual adaptation of the book. Believe me, the book is nothing like you think it's going to be. It's so different from all of the adaptations.
Huh.
Yeah, you should definitely you really got to read it. There's lots of books on tape versions. There's one read by
Can I get one read by Christopher Lee?
Oh, that would be great, wouldn't it?
That'd be wonderful.
No, there's an English actor who does the whole thing. And he does all the accents because there's a lot of accents in it.
Ooh, I should get that one.
Have you read it, Crystal?
I haven't. No, I
No one reads it. Everyone thinks they don't need to read it because of the movies, and I'm telling you, you won't believe it. It'll be like this book. Like, what is this? This has nothing to do. Like, none of the movies gave me any of this information. I mean, there's a little bit, but it's a little. I mean, you know about Lucy, but it's yeah. Anyway, that's my own personal frustration.
I'm gonna add the book right now.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to be such
I want to read it
academic
too.
about it.
You hit it on the nail. Like, when I saw the movie, I didn't think I had to read it because I'm like, oh, this movie was great. Done. Check that off.
I mean, nothing to do. The book is, it's a whole bunch of things, but it's not. I guess I should say. Why don't they just do the book?
I guess I should say in my Moth Diaries, it's not a retelling of Bram Stoker's Dracula. It's a retelling of Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula.
Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yes.
There you go.
I mean,
based
some
on
things
the novel,
are basically the same. I mean, I'm not saying it's completely different, but it doesn't even come close in terms of the feeling and the. Somebody just needs to adapt the novel, and it would take hours and hours and hours to do it.
You mean that wasn't Fright Night?
Fright Night came closest.
That would be the best if that's the one that's like that's truest to the original text.
I'm gonna go read this right now.
You won't believe it. It's nothing like you expect. I think. Anyway, it really floored me. And the gender things are totally. Anyway, there's a lot to be said about the actual novel Dracula. Maybe we can have a thing about that at some point. But
I would love to have a.
It's not really about. He's not in it very much.
Book to movie bioequivalence.
There's no romance. He's not in it very much. It's about the effect he has on a lot of other people. It's also about cross-cultural. It's about somebody. Oh yeah, it's about real estate. Okay, let me just say, Dracula is a novel about real estate to a great extent. And people,
well, I mean, that makes sense. I mean, Harker was the escrow agent, kind of.
Exactly, but that sets up so much of what the novel is about, which is about geography and buying property and invading a place through cunning investment. I mean, it sounds prosaic, but it's really there's a lot that's prosaic in the novel that's fascinating. Mina, the good girl, has memorized all the timetables of the trains, and she works she has an early form of voice recording, and she types everything out. And so there's all this stuff about modern technology that's associated with women and not men. So it plays into some of what I was saying before about the conflict of the rational world. In Dracula, the female, Mina specifically, not so much, represents rationality and the future and modernism.
And Lucy is letting go of inhibitions.
Lucy, no, but she's a very modern young woman too. She gets three proposals in one day, and I think, and it doesn't the film. The novel's told in letters, so if you don't do that, the novel's told in letters and newspaper articles and all kinds of bits and pieces of paper and some conversations. But so if the adaptation isn't doing that, then you're not getting Dracula, because the whole point of Dracula is it's not from one person's point of view. You get all these different fragments. But basically, this idea of the white man is the one who has the rational versus irrational conflict in his soul, and that turns out to be Jonathan. There's actually like 5 men. There's a whole bunch of men in the novel, and they're the ones that are having the biggest amount of trouble figuring out what to do about Dracula. Mina, although she suffers from his attacks, she knows how to deal with it in the most rational, kind of coherent way possible. So there's all these aspects to it that are never brought out. The women are way ahead of the men in terms of gender politics. I don't know if any of this stuff was meant by Stoker, my feeling about that novel is that he wrote a masterpiece and didn't know it, or like didn't know what he was doing. It's a masterpiece because it's a mess, because it's got so much in it. Like everything he thought of, everything that was around him, he put into this novel. He wrote it for like 10, 15 years. I'm sorry. Oh my God, you've gotten me going on Dracula.
No, we need a whole other episode about this.
Well, I've already made another episode. You just cut this out. Recorded. But it does fit in with my theme, the theme that I was sort of trying to come to. And Crystal, remind me, yours was what was your
film noir and
anti-heroes creating their own hell.
Yeah, well, of course that fits in with the male, again, the white male protagonist destroys himself. You know, this is all modernity. This is all, you know, 20th century, going into the 20th century, and that's when that novel was written. I'd love to hear, I guess I want to hear female reactions to Dracula if they see what I see.
Okay.
The women being, they don't represent femininity, and there's always like, you know, gasping, fainting, fluttering women in Dracula, whereas that's not what was on the page as far as I'm concerned. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay.
All right. I'm sorry.
No.
So that makes Moth Diaries sound even more interesting. If it's all women, you know what I mean? Like maybe an all-female Dracula might bring some of that out. I don't know.
Oh, it's not just women. It's all preteen angsty women.
Well, that goes without saying.
All right, so we have our 7 films. I'll repeat them again just to
You're going to cut that out, right? Please cut all of that out.
No, I love it.
Oh, it's golden.
So we have our 7 films. The first genre thing was Culture Clashes with Noel's recommendation, Last Wave and Don't Look Now. Crystal did Film Noir Anti-Hero Creating Your Own Hell genre. With Angel Heart and Hellraiser 5 Inferno. And then I had modern retellings of what I thought was classic tales. Hard Candy, Sisterhood of the Night, and Moth Diaries. So those are your 7 films, one for each day of the week. And comment if you like any of the movies we recommended or think we should have thrown something else in one of our categories or anything like that. We will catch you guys again in another week. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.